Hello students, good morning to all of you. Today I am going to explain the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda was born in 1904 in the town of Parral in Chile. He was a famous Chilean poet and a politician. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1971. This poem was originally written in Spanish and translated into English. In this poem, Keeping Quiet, the poet talks about self introspection. Man's actions have caused much trouble and chaos in the world. Now it is time for him to pause, to keep quiet for a short time and ponder over his actions. Alright. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Now the poet tells us that he is going to count up to 12 and he wants us to keep still, to keep quiet, calm and quiet during that period of time. The numbers 1 to 12, counting the numbers from 1 to 12, it takes a little time. For that short period of time, the poet wants everyone to keep quiet and still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. The poet says that when we will keep still, calm and quiet for a short time, we will not be talking in any language. During that period of time at least, no one will be talking in any language. Let's not speak in any language. The poet wants us to stop talking, to speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. The poet wants everyone to stop, to pause for a second, for a very short time. The poet wants every one of us to be silent and motionless for a short period of time and not move our arms so much. He also wants us not to move our arms so much. What means not move our arms so much? It has two meanings. When we move our arms, we use our arms to fight. We move our arms to signal to others. We move our arms. This phrase, this word arms, is also used in the sense of using weapons. Arms also means weapons. So the poet wants us that the poet wants us to keep quiet and motionless for a short time, for a second, and not speak in any language, not fight with each other, and he also wants us not to use our hands to fight, to argue with each other, and also not to use weapons against each other for killing. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. So the poet here talks about that moment of stillness and silence. What kind of moment it will be? Which moment? It would be an exotic moment. Which moment would be an exotic moment? That moment of silence and stillness, when everyone will be silent and keep quiet when he will not speak in any language and he will not raise his hands to fight with each other, in that moment of silence and quietness would be an exotic moment. Understand? And what is an exotic moment? An exotic moment is a very exciting, attractive, and unusual moment. So it would be an exotic, an unusual, and exciting moment when everyone will keep quiet and be motionless, without rush, without engines. In that moment of silence and quietness, there would not be any noise, without rush, without engines. When everything would come to a standstill, when everything would become quiet, we will not hear any noise of engines, the machines. With rush means hurry. People are always in a hurry to go to their places of work, to go to schools, to go to the market. We can see people coming and going and rushing to the places where they want to go. The poet wants them to pause, to stop for a while, without engines. And in that moment of silence, the engines will not be running. The engines of machines, the engines of automobiles, the engines of planes and trains, vehicles, the the machines in factories, everything will stop. Everything, all activities would come to a standstill. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. And what will be the result of this quietness and stillness? The result would be that we would be all together. We would all enjoy together in a sudden strangeness. So the silence or stillness that would be created, it would be a strange moment. Okay, why do the poet calls it a strange moment? It's because we haven't experienced that kind of moment in our life before. Man has not experienced that kind of feeling, that kind of moment, that kind of silence and quietness in life. So that moment of silence and stillness would be very strange. And in that strange moment, we would all be enjoying together in a spirit of brotherhood. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. There are other advantages also of being quiet. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. In cold sea means the seas near the polar regions, North Pole and South Pole. In polar regions, the seas are very cold, and the biggest sea animal, whale, is found in the cold sea, in those regions. So when everyone will keep quiet and everyone will become, everything will become standstill, and no one would be doing anything for a while, the result would be that the fishermen in the cold seas would also stop. They would also stop killing whales. In that way, the killings would stop. This is just a symbol. The fishermen stopping to kill whales, it symbolizes that the violence would stop. People would stop killing each other, and it also means that man would not harm the nature. A fisherman would not kill whales means man would stop harming the nature. Man harms the nature in different ways, like cutting trees, like overfishing, like excessive mining, like polluting the atmosphere, the environment. So the man would stop for a while, he will not do anything. In that way, the nature can be protected, the environment can be safeguarded. So the people would not destroy the nature. And the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. There is another advantage of that moment of silence and stillness. The advantage is that the man gathering salt, it means the laborer who collects salt, would look at his hurt hands. He would get some time. He would get a little respite from his hard work to look at his hurt hands. Because normally uh, people do not have time to look at their injuries. So, in that moment of stillness and motionlessness, at least the laborers, the people would get some time, some spare time to look at their injured hands and try to care for themselves, try to tend to their wounded hands, their injuries. So, in this stanza, the poet talks about two things. It talks about nature, nature will be protected in that moment of stillness and silence, and man also will be able to tend to his wounds. He will also be able to care for himself. So, in this way, nature and man would get some time to recover from their injuries. Now, those who prepare green wars, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about their, with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. Here the poet talks about the warmongers, those who prepare green wars. He talks about those people who prepare for wars, who prepare for different kinds of wars. And the people who prepare for wars are called warmongers. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire. So here the poet talks about different kinds of wars. Man wages war in different ways. It fights against nature. Green wars. Green wars is a kind of war that is waged against the nature, against the environment. Man destroys the nature. Wars with gas. Man fights with poisonous gas. They kill each other with gases. Wars with fire. There is also a kind of war that is war with fire. With fire means with firearms or with weapons that cause fire. And what are firearms? Guns. Means weapons that fire, like guns, like tanks and artilleries that fire. So man fights with uh, firearms, and he also fights with bombs that cause fire. So there are warmongers who are preparing for wars or who wage wars uh, in different ways. They wage war against nature by destroying the nature, by exploiting the natural resources, and they fight wars with poisonous gases, they fight wars with firearms and bombs. Victory with no survivors. And in such wars are so destructive. People fight with atom bombs. The weapons are so, the weapons that the people use for the fighting, for wars, they are so dangerous, uh, they are so destructive that as a result of that, no one is alive. Everyone is dead. Victory with no survivor. Survivor means the people who are left alive after a war. No survivor means nobody survives after the war. As a result, of the war, nobody survives. And it is that kind of victory. Even if one side wins the war, it cannot be called victory because there is no one to enjoy that victory. All are dead. There are no survivors. Would put on clean clothes. Who would put on clean clothes? Those warmongers who prepare for wars. Those the poet wants them to put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. Here the poet expresses his desire that the warmongers should stop their destructive wars, and instead of fighting wars, they should take off their blood-stained clothes and wear new clothes, clean clothes, and walk about with their brothers. And he wants them to walk with their enemies as brothers, in the shade doing nothing, in the shadow of trees doing nothing. So here the poet gives a message of peace, brotherhood and harmony. He wants the warmongers to stop the wars and walk with each other, holding each other's hands in a spirit of brotherhood and walk under the trees doing nothing. And they should not be doing anything during that period. Okay, so in that way brotherhood and harmony among human beings would be promoted, would be developed. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Here the poet clarifies one thing. In the previous stanza that we have just read, the poet has given a message that we should keep quiet and be still for a while, for a second. Okay, and it means that we should all become totally inactive. Everything should come to a standstill. That's what we have understood from what the poet wants in the in the stanzas that we have just read. He wants total inactivity. This is what we have understood. But here the poet wants to clarify what he really wants. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Try to understand this. The poet here clarifies that what he wants, it should not be misunderstood. It should not be confused with total inactivity. We should not understand it in the sense that the poet wants total inactivity. The poet wants everything, all activities to stop. It is not, the poet does not want to say this. Then what he wants, the poet will explain here what he actually wants. Life is what it is about. The poet makes it very clear that life is what it is about. It means life is about what? Life is about activity. Life is full of activity. We cannot imagine a life which is devoid of any activity, where there is no rush, where there is no activity, where people are not engaged in earning their livelihoods, and okay, all the activities should go on. The poet here wants to convey that life should be lived. That life means living life in its to the fullest. Life is full of activity. I have no truck with death. The poet here clarifies that having truck means having a connection, having association. The poet clarifies here that he has no truck with death. He has no connection with death. And why he says so? Because because life means activity. And if we understand his message in the sense that he wants to tell us to remain inactive, it means death. And the poet does not want death. Inactivity means death, and the poet does not want inactivity. Hmm. And that is why the poet says that he has no association with death, because death means inactivity. If we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving, single minded means focused on one thing, single mindedly, without any distraction, to think about one thing. If we were not so single minded about keeping our life moving, and what do? We are so busy in keeping our life moving, in earning our livelihoods, in going about our daily routine, in performing our tasks, our duties, fulfilling our duties. So every one of us is so busy in all these things, performing our tasks, our duties, and earning our livelihood. Everyone is busy. The poet says that if we were not uh, so single-mindedly focusing on these things to keep our life moving, and for once could do nothing. The poet says that if we stop our activities for once and do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. So he says that if we stop doing anything for once, for only one time, a huge silence, it will create a huge silence. There would be peace and quietness all around us. Might interrupt this sadness, uh, the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. He says that this huge silence would interrupt, would stop our sadness. It would overcome our sadness. And what kind of sadness the poet is talking about? From where it comes? The huge silence would overcome, would control our sadness. And this sadness comes from never understanding ourselves. What kind of sadness this is? This is the sadness which comes from never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. And we prepare for wars. In that way, we cause our own death. We threaten, we endanger our own life. This is a little, it's not very easy to understand this. Let me explain you in Hindi also. इस स्टैंजा में पोएट जो है वो ये क्लैरिफाई करना चाहता है कि टोटल इनएक्टिविटी को जो इसके प्रीवियस स्टैंजाज में वो कहता है कि हमको स्टिल हो जाना चाहिए और टोटली इनएक्टिव हो जाना चाहिए, तो उसको क्लैरिफाई करता है कि उसका कहने का मतलब टोटल इनएक्टिविटी नहीं है। वो नहीं चाहता कि हम सब कुछ बंद कर दें, इनएक्टिव हो जाएं, बिल्कुल आइडल हो जाएं, हाथ पर हाथ रख के बैठ जाएं। और क्योंकि इनएक्टिविटी का मतलब डेथ होता है, और पोएट कहता है कि उसका डेथ से कुछ भी लेना देना नहीं है। ही हैज़ नो ट्रक विद डेथ, ही हैज़ नो एसोसिएशन विद डेथ। और वो भी ये भी कहता है इफ़ वी वर नॉट सो सिंगल माइंडेड अबाउट कीपिंग आवर लाइफ मूविंग एंड फॉर वंस कुड डू नथिंग। वो ये भी कहता है कि अगर हम लोग इतने सेल्फ सेंटर्ड ना हो, इतने सेल्फिश ना हो कि बस अपनी ज़िंदगी को आगे बढ़ाते रहने के बारे में, कीप आवर लाइफ मूविंग, अपनी ज़िंदगी को आगे मूव करने के बारे में ही हम सोचते रहें, अपनी जो है रोज़ी रोज़गार में ही लगे रहें, अपने डेली रूटीन के काम में ही लगे रहें और अपनी ड्यूटीज़ निभाने में लगे रहें। अगर ऐसा ना हो, थोड़ी देर के लिए फॉर वंस, एक बार के लिए अगर हम थोड़ी देर के लिए रुक जाएं, फॉर वंस वी कुड डू नथिंग, परहैप्स अ ह्यूज साइलेंस। इससे जो है क्या होगा, एक बहुत बड़ा साइलेंस पैदा होगा, हमारे चारों तरफ एक ह्यूज साइलेंस पैदा होगा। दैट ह्यूज साइलेंस माइट इंटरप्ट दिस सैडनेस और उस ह्यूज साइलेंस से जो है हमारी सैडनेस जो है वो इंटरप्ट हो जाएगी, वो ओवरकम या रुक जाएगी, हमारी सैडनेस कम हो जाएगी। और ये सैडनेस कहाँ से आती है? ऑफ नेवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग आवर सेल्फ एंड ऑफ थ्रेटनिंग आवर सेल्फ विद डेथ। ये आती है अपने आप को ना समझ पाने की वजह से। इसको कहते हैं सेल्फ इंट्रोस्पेक्शन। हम अपने एक्शंस को एग्जामिन नहीं कर पाते हैं कि हम क्या गलत कर रहे हैं और क्या बुरा कर रहे हैं। जब हम जो है अपने आप को समझ नहीं पाते हैं और हम ऐसा सब कुछ करते हैं कि हमारे एक्शन से हमारी ज़िंदगी खुद खतरे में पड़ जाती है, तो उससे जो सैडनेस पैदा होती है, उस सैडनेस को ये ह्यूज साइलेंस वो इंटरप्ट कर देता है, रोक देता है। ठीक है, तो दिस इज द मैसेज। तो इन दिस पैराग्राफ द पोएट clears one thing, that he does not want to say that we should all stop and do nothing. He does not want to advocate total inactivity, because total inactivity means death, and the poet does not have any association with death. The poet also tells us that we should not be so selfish and self-centered, that we should always be trying to keep our lives moving, and we should always be busy in our daily work, and we should always be busy in fulfilling our duties. The poet wants us to stop for a while, to stop for at least once, at least for a second, to look into ourselves, to examine our actions, whether our actions are causing trouble to us or not. So actually what happens, because since we have no time to stop and examine ourselves, we do not have time to introspect and ponder over actions, we are doing good or bad. So because of this, a sadness is created, and the huge silence that would be created from our keeping quiet and remaining still for for one time, it will overcome that sadness that arises from not understanding ourselves and threatening our life with death. Okay, perhaps the earth can teach us, and as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now it will be clear from this stanza what the poet wants. The poet wants us to take some guidance from nature, from earth. Earth can teach us. What earth can teach us? As when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive, the earth can teach us that when everything seems dead and later it proves to be alive. So what it means? It means that nature seems to be inactive. It seems to be quiet and motionless. Apparently the earth is very inactive. It is not in a hurry like human beings. They are all the time they are hurry. There is so much noise. The earth is so peaceful. There is so much quietness all around. But still the earth is alive. It is not dead. All the time there is growth in the earth. Okay. The poet wants to say that there is activity under the apparent stillness. Apparently the earth is still, silent, but under that stillness and silence there is a lot of activity going on. We can understand this with the help of an example of seeds. The seeds lie on the ground. They seem dead, inactive, but later on a huge tree grows out of it. So actually the seed is not inactive. It looks inactive, it looks quiet and calm, but actually it is active, it is growing, and slowly a huge tree is born out of it. It is this stanza is explained in another way also, that in winter. Winter is actually autumn time in those parts of the ancient parts of the world, when uh, the leaves fall to the ground, when everything looks dead. Okay, when there is no when it seems that there is no activity in nature, everything, the leaves are drying. So when the season changes and spring season comes, everything comes back to life. The the new leaves come, the fruits come on the trees. So apparently it was some time back something that was dead, the trees that were dead, and the nature that looked as if they were not living. They come back to life. They start producing new leaves and new fruits. In that way, we can say that the earth appears to be dead from outside, but inwardly it is very much alive. It is not dead. So the human beings can learn a lesson from nature, from the earth, how to remain active while appearing to be quiet and still. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. The poet now says that he has delivered the message to us, and now his job is over. He has done, he has conveyed the message of peace and brotherhood to the human beings, and now he wants to go. And before going, he would like to count up to 12. The poet would count up to 12 before going, and he wants everyone to keep quiet during that time. He wants us to keep quiet while he counts up to 12. Okay. So, dear students, I hope you have understood the poem well, and tomorrow we will try to understand the poem with the help of some questions and answers, both extract based questions and short answer questions. Till then, thank you and goodbye.